Hey everyone, and happy Super Bowl Sunday, and Amazon Germany accidentally leaked the LEGO Star Wars Boba Fett's palace in its entirety. So we have a little bit more than that one singular picture from the back of an instruction manual to go off of now. And we'll start with our box art here. You can see it's using the standard box art that we have for this year with kind of the black greebled outline, looks very sharp. And if we look to the bottom left corner, we'll see Boba Fett and Fennec Shand in that corner. It looks like they've done a little creative color changing to the helmet to make it look less terrible than the actual Lego figure that you can see here on the box. As for the actual art on the box, you can see the twin suns of Tatooine setting in the background, or maybe coming up, and you can see a lot of mountains behind Jabba's palace or Boba's palace, or really technically, as per this particular picture, Bib Fortuna's palace. And then the final thing I'll say about the box art is that we do have the green stripe, and I'll be making a video about this, but LEGO Star Wars does have a box art problem. They are terrible at it. But this is good. This is how it should be. It should be a green stripe. This set is not the problem, but it is the nail in the coffin for, that we know there is a problem. If you don't know, this set will cost $100 US. It has 732 pieces, and it releases on March 1st. It might be available for pre-order soon here, so if it is, I'll let you guys know with a community tab post or an Instagram post, but as of now, this is just the pictures we have. So looking below, we have a pretty good view of the interior of the throne room. We can see all of our minifigures, which we've pretty much been over at this point in the other video, but there are some very interesting new figures here. Definitely loving what we're getting in this particular set. The biggest downside to me is just not getting two Gamorrean guards like we see consistently in the show. They're always together, and to only get one is kind of sad. Anyway, I think the back of the box is rather interesting. So you can see here we do have that front gate with the weaponry at the front of it, just like on that 2012 set, which is nice to see a very similar look there. You're also going to have the eye that pops out of the front of Jabba's palace, or Boba's palace in this case, and the door can open and close. Now also in this image to the right of the guard tower door area, we actually get our only real view of the exterior of the actual palace area, and you can see they're using some sloped dark tan bricks and some sloped light tan bricks, and obviously the roof is pretty flat. That's definitely a downside for this set over the previous year's set, but seeing that exterior gives me a little bit of hope that it will look somewhat decent as a display set when flipped around. I mean, that 2012 model is unfortunately just going to be unmatched as far as that goes, but this might be suitable for some people for that. Something I wasn't aware would be able to happen with this set is that the whole thing is going to be able to open in a very interesting way. So you have this whole back panel, which is kind of like the wall of the palace, right? That will be somewhat displayable, as we'll see in an upcoming video clip. And so that can swing out so you can get easier access, I suppose, to the actual throne area. And then the left side, where it's like kind of a cantina seating area, can swing around, and so can the right side, kind of the guard tower area of the set and the entry door. So very interesting to see that. And then on the left, they're just kind of showing a better angle of that and how that separates. And then if we look all the way to the bottom, we can see the cantina bar area with the Corrin minifigure and the Gamorrean guard there. And here's a couple slightly better shots of Bib Fortuna being thrown out of his throne. We can get a great view of that throne and all the detail that's been added to it. Looks very good with the stickers. Got the Rancors on the very front of it. Of course, Bib Fortuna popping off with this little function where you push down on, I guess, this little gray lever. You can see the Technic pin probably runs through there, and it's going to pop him off of his seat. Lot of details inside of this throne room area. Love the chicken legs there as well. And then hidden behind the throne, we can see a couple, maybe that's Beskar, and then some weapons as well, some blasters back there. And you can see the studs that the throne is going to connect to so that it can stay connected when you want the throne to actually be part of the build, and then it can slide off pretty easily when you want to take it off. And then a feature that I theorized in my previous video, because they had the little knob here, you will be able to actually fling characters off the stairs. So I got that right, which is pretty cool. Here we have some much better imagery of the minifigures. Fennec Shand's hair in particular, I am not a fan of. I do not think it looks good. I believe they're using a hairpiece from the Marvel Eternals lineup of LEGO sets. This isn't a hairpiece unique for Fennec Shand, which is obviously going to be problematic sometimes when you're sharing hairpieces. One character gets the short end of the stick, and in this case, it looks like Fennec got the short end of the stick. I got a lot of comments on my last video, because I didn't even talk about it at all, but I got a lot of comments about, Fennec's hair looks really weird and bad, and they wanted to know if there was going to be the helmet in the set. The helmet's not coming in the set, and the hairpiece doesn't look great. So Fennec might surprisingly be the worst figure in this set, even with that Boba Fett looming there to the left. Anyway, moving down, we have I think it's a Thelan Dancer, the Corrin, the Gamorrean Guard, and the WK Guard. dude, these 4 characters, just a perfect lineup right there. That looks fantastic. I think the Gamorrean Guard, let me grab my other one, actually. So I got my Gamorrean Guard from the 2012 Jabba's Palace here, and you can see they've changed the legs from this lime green to a brown color here, and they've also added footprinting. It just generally looks much better than the one that I'm holding in my hand. There's a little bit of a better print on the torso as far as I can tell, but otherwise the mold of the Gamorrean Guard seems to be the same. Yeah, these 4 characters at the bottom I think are huge for this set. It's going to be big draws, and they look fantastic. So I think the figure selection in the set, I've been saying it from the beginning, is very, very good. For what it's worth, here's a slightly better image of the palace kind of swung open. You get an idea of how that guard tower looks with the palace on its display side. Unfortunately, we don't get a good view of the display side of the actual throne room area of the palace. But as for the guard tower, I don't know if it's this particular image, but it does look kind of squished to me. It doesn't look great. It looks small. I mean, obviously, it's not going to stand up to that 2012 model. We already knew that, but this looks a little bit worse than I was expecting for the other side of the palace to look. It just doesn't look great there to me, but this does also give us a great view of what's hidden behind the throne room chair. It was pretty obvious there was a lot of space behind that chair, but we couldn't really tell before. But here you can see there's kind of like a kitchen cooking area or something. It looks like some lights maybe back there as well. So they've definitely added in a little bit more hidden behind this. I mean, to me, it looks like a barbell, but I'm not exactly sure if that's what it's actually used for. Like, I don't think Bib Fortuna was pumping some iron on his throne there. You saw him in the show, right? Like, he's a little out of shape. Anyway, that's what it looks like from the inside, so that's pretty good. And then Amazon also uploaded a video showing some kids playing with the set, and you can kind of get an idea of how some of these functions work, like Bib Fortuna on the throne and the throne coming in and out. You'll see the Gamorrean Guard flung off of the stairs here. The door can shut really fast if you want it to, and then you can have Bib Fortuna get thrown off of the throne, of course, and replace him promptly with Boba Fett, keeping the Thielen dancer behind her. And you can see Fennec Shand on the roof there, so interesting. And speaking of the roof, one of the most common comments I got on last week's video was that perhaps the reason the roof is flat is so that they are going to come out with an attachment that goes on top of the roof that has black chrysanthemum and has Boba Fett's bacta tank, and it's going to be this great attachment that goes on top of the set. I just don't see it. It's a very interesting idea. There were a lot of people that shared the same idea and optimism. I just don't share that same idea and optimism, and I think this particular image showing Fennec Shand on the roof to me shows everything we need to know about the roof. It's not completely flat like you would need for an attachment like that. Usually if you're going to have an attachment like you have for the top of the Rancor pit, you have it completely tiled off only to have the specific things you need to have the attachment with. I also think the grading on the top of the roof is pretty indicative to me that we won't have an attachment, because that to me seems like it's supposed to allow the light to flow into the throne room, and I don't think that they would block that. So that's just the way I see it. So that is the entirety of Boba Fett's Palace. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Will you be picking it up day one, waiting for a sale? I am hoping to have it very soon, so keep your eye out for a review and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.